Oh, darlings, let me tell you something right from the start. Sometimes the people you love most are the ones holding the knife behind your back. My name is Martha Caldwell, and at 70 years old, I thought I knew what betrayal felt like, until that crisp Tuesday afternoon when Dr. Sterling slipped a folded note into my purse, his eyes darting like a cornered animal. "Don't go home, run." Those words hit me like ice water down my spine, but I didn't run, not yet. Instead, I clutched my purse tighter, paid the cab driver with steady hands that belied the storm inside, and stepped into the house I'd called home for decades, wondering if the walls themselves were whispering secrets against me. The cab ride home from the doctor's office was a blur of autumn leaves swirling outside the window, their rustle against the glass mirroring the chaos in my mind. Dr. Elliot Sterling had been my physician for over 20 years, ever since Benjamin was a lanky teenager with scraped knees from playing ball in the park. He was a kind man, always with a gentle touch and a reassuring word, his office smelling faintly of antiseptic and the peppermint candies he kept in a bowl on his desk. That day, though, his hands trembled as he wrapped the blood pressure cuff around my arm, and he wouldn't meet my gaze. "Everything looks good, Mrs. Caldwell," he'd said, his voice tight like a wound sprung. "Your labs are perfect, heart strong as ever, many good years ahead." I nodded, forcing a smile. But as I reached for my purse, he leaned in close, too close, and that note vanished into its depths like a ghost. "Take good care, and remember, family isn't always what it seems." His words hung in the air, heavy and ominous, as I left. I didn't read the note right away. No. I sat in that cab, my fingers tracing the worn leather of my purse, my mind spinning. Why the secrecy? Dr. Sterling knew my family well. He'd treated Benjamin's fevers, Eleanor's migraines, even little Olivia's ear infections when she was small. What could possibly make him act like that? The cab pulled up to our modest two-story home on Elm Street, the one my late husband, George, and I had bought back in the 70s. It was a cozy place with white shutters and a front porch where I'd spent countless evenings rocking in my chair, watching the neighborhood kids play. As I paid the driver and stepped out, the familiar scent of fallen leaves and distant chimney smoke greeted me, but it felt off somehow, like a painting slightly askew. Inside, the house was quiet. Too quiet for a Tuesday afternoon. Benjamin was in the living room, lounging on the old floral sofa George had loved, with Eleanor beside him flipping through some papers. Olivia, my sweet granddaughter, sat cross-legged on the floor, scrolling on her phone. They were talking in low tones, but the conversation cut off like a snipped thread when I walked in. Eleanor quickly tucked the papers behind her back, her smile too bright, too forced. "How was the doctor's, Mom?" Benjamin asked, standing up with that easy grin of his, though it didn't quite reach his eyes. He was 47 now, still handsome with George's strong jaw and my curly hair, but there were lines around his mouth that hadn't been there a year ago. "Everything's fine, son," I replied, hanging my coat on the hook by the door. The air smelled of the pot roast Eleanor had simmering in the slow cooker, her specialty, with carrots and onions that always made the whole house feel warm and inviting. "The doctor says I'm in perfect health, strong of an ox." I tried to laugh, but it came out thin. Eleanor exchanged a quick glance with Benjamin, one of those silent conversations married couples have, and something in it made my stomach twist. Were they disappointed? Olivia looked up from her phone, her teenage face so much like her mother's with those sharp cheekbones, twisting into a smile that felt cold. "That's great, Grandma. Means you have plenty of time left to enjoy yourself." Her voice was flat, like she was reading from a script. We went about the evening as usual, dinner around the oak table George had built himself, the one with the scratches from years of family meals. Benjamin passed the potatoes, Eleanor poured the iced tea, and Olivia complained lightly about her schoolwork. But the tension was there, thick as fog. Benjamin barely spoke to me, answering my questions about his job at the accounting firm with grunts. Eleanor was monosyllabic, her fork scraping the plate in a way that set my teeth on edge. Olivia avoided my eyes altogether, pushing her food around. "Is something wrong?" I finally asked, setting down my napkin. The ticking of the grandfather clock in the hall seemed louder than usual.
"No, Mom, everything's fine," Benjamin said too quickly, forcing another smile. "We're just tired, that's all." Tired. It didn't ring true, but I let it go, retreating to my room after helping clear the dishes. My bedroom was my sanctuary. Pale blue walls, the quilt I'd sewn myself, photos of George and Benjamin on the dresser. George, gone 10 years now from that sudden heart attack, smiling in his fishing hat. Benjamin as a toddler, chubby-cheeked and laughing. I had adopted him at 2, after years of trying for a child of our own. He was abandoned, they said, left at a fire station with nothing but a blanket. George and I poured everything into him. Love, education, sacrifices. I worked double shifts at the library to pay for his college, skipped vacations so he could have braces, new clothes, everything. When George passed, Benjamin became my rock, along with Eleanor and little Olivia. Or so I thought. That night, as I sat on the edge of my bed, the doctor's note burned in my mind. With trembling hands, I fished it out of my purse and unfolded it under the soft glow of my bedside lamp. The words blurred at first, then sharpened into horror. "Mrs. Caldwell, your family was here yesterday. Eleanor asked about your mental state, if I could certify you need special care. They want to put you in a nursing home. They also asked about your inheritance and assets. Don't go home, run. Dr. Sterling." My breath caught, a sharp pain blooming in my chest. My own family? The son I raised with every ounce of love in me? Eleanor, whom I treated like a daughter? Olivia, my adoration? It couldn't be. But pieces clicked. The hushed talks, the hidden papers, their disappointment at my clean bill of health. I didn't sleep that night. Every creak of the house startled me. The wind against the window, the hum of the refrigerator downstairs. How had it come to this? I'd given them everything, sacrificed my dreams, my friends, my life, and now this? At 2 a.m., voices drifted up from the kitchen, soft but clear enough. I slipped out of bed, my bare feet cold on the hardwood floor, and crept to my door, cracking it just enough to hear. "The damn doctor wouldn't cooperate," Eleanor hissed, laced with irritation. "I told him the old lady's losing her mind, doesn't recognize us sometimes, leaves the gas on, but he insisted she's fine." "Relax, love," Benjamin soothed. "We'll find another doctor who will sign the papers." "But what about in the meantime?" Olivia chimed in, her tone impatient. "I already booked my spot at that college in the U.S. I need that money now, not in 5 years when she finally dies of old age." "Olivia, don't talk like that," Benjamin scolded mildly, without heat. "But you have a point. We need to act fast. The house is worth almost $500,000, and with her pension and savings, we could live comfortably until... Look," Eleanor cut in coldly, "I didn't join this family to care for a senile old woman. I married you thinking you'd inherit soon, but it's been 10 years and she's still here, spending our money." Our money? I thought, rage flickering in my chest. It was mine and George's, earned through sweat and years. "Tomorrow I'll talk to the lawyer," Benjamin continued. "See if we can declare her incompetent without a doctor. There has to be a way." "And if not," Eleanor added, "we can make her life impossible until she goes willingly. Take her TV, don't cook for her, treat her like the burden she is." "Mom, that's cruel," Olivia said. But then, though I'm tired of pretending to love her, always butting in, asking why we're out late, it's insufferable. My legs weakened. I leaned against the wall, the wood cool under my palm. This was my family? "Remember my 15th birthday?" Olivia went on. "She bought that horrible red dress and made me wear it. Friends laughed. I swore I'd get her back someday." "And she brags about being such a good mother," Eleanor sneered, "all her sacrifices. But she adopted him because she couldn't have kids, used him to fill her emptiness." "Enough," Benjamin sighed, tired. "In a week, I'll tell her we found a nice nursing home. If she refuses, plan B." "What's plan B?" Olivia asked. Make her really lose her mind, he said flatly. Switch meds, hide things, gaslight her. In a month, any doctor will certify she's ill. The horror washed over me like a wave. Not just rob me, destroy me, my mind, my dignity. It's perfect, Eleanor enthused. Once committed, we access everything. Sell the house, collect pension, no questions. They laughed then, a low shared chuckle that echoed like thunder in my ears. Laughed at my love, my trust. In that moment, something shattered. Not just my heart, but my illusion of family. But they didn't know my secret. George had left me more than memories. $2.2 million offshore, 3 overseas properties, hidden all these years. I'd kept it quiet to test their love, to let Benjamin build his own way. Now, it would be my weapon. I slipped back to bed, heart pounding but mind sharpening. I wouldn't run like a victim. I'd plan. At dawn, as they slept, I packed a small suitcase, documents, clothes, meds, my secret notebook. Before leaving, I activated my phone recorder, wandering near their room. Whispers filtered out. Eleanor on copying cards, Benjamin on the lawyer. Do you think she suspects? Eleanor worried. Impossible, Benjamin scoffed. Too old, too trusting, nowhere to go, no money, no friends. Pathetic. Perfect evidence. I left a note, running errands, back later, and slipped out into the morning light, hailing a cab. The air smelled fresh, like possibility. They underestimated me, but the senile old woman was awake now.
The cab smelled faintly of pine air freshener and the driver's coffee, but I barely noticed. I sat in the back seat, clutching my little suitcase like it was the only solid thing left in the world, watching the familiar streets of Elm Street disappear behind me. My heart was still hammering from the night before, from the sound of their laughter echoing in my ears. But beneath the fear, something new was growing, slow and steady like a fire catching dry kindling. It felt a lot like anger, only cleaner, sharper. The kind of anger that makes a woman sit up straight and decide she is done being afraid. First stop was the bank on Maple and Fifth, the one George and I had used since we were newlyweds. I walked in wearing the same navy coat I'd worn for 20 winters, the one with the missing button I kept meaning to sew back on. Patricia, the young teller with the kind eyes, recognized me right away. "Mrs. Caldwell, you're early today." Her smile faltered when she saw my face. "Everything all right?" "I need to withdraw $5,000 in cash, dear," I said, sliding my ID across the counter, "and I'd like to verify that my accounts are exactly as I left them." Her fingers flew over the keyboard. I watched the little worry line appear between her brows. "Ma'am, there have been some unusual inquiries on your accounts in the last few months. Someone claiming to be you called asking for balances. We blocked them, of course, but—" "Thank you, Patricia," I said gently. "I'm aware. Just the cash, please." She counted it out in hundreds, neat and crisp, sliding the envelope to me like it might bite her. "Are you sure you're safe carrying this much, Mrs. Caldwell?" I tucked it into the inside pocket George had sewn into this very coat decades ago, the one he called my secret stash. "Safer than I've been in years, sweetheart." Next stop, the Grand Imperial Hotel downtown. I'd only ever driven past it, admiring the marble steps and the doorman in his long coat. Now I walked, straight up walked through those revolving doors like I belonged there. The lobby smelled of lilies and lemon polish, and the chandelier glittered like 1,000 tiny suns. The receptionist, a polished woman about my daughter-in-law's age, didn't blink when I asked for a suite. "How long will Madam be staying?" "Until I decide otherwise," I said, handing over cash for the first week. She hesitated only a second before smiling the smile of someone who understands that money talks louder than questions. Room 11012 overlooked the river. Sunlight poured across cream carpet, and a bed so high I had to use the little velvet step stool. I set my suitcase down, opened the curtains wide, and for the first time in 45 years, I was completely, utterly alone, and it felt like breathing after being underwater too long. That's when the tears came. I sat on the edge of that big bed and cried like a child, great, gulping sobs for the boy I'd rocked to sleep, for the husband who died thinking our son would take care of me,
for the woman I used to be before I shrank myself to fit everyone else's needs. I cried until my ribs hurt and my throat was raw. Then I wiped my face, blew my nose on hotel tissues that smelled faintly of lavender, and opened the little leather notebook where George had written every account number, every password, every property deed in his careful engineer's handwriting. The money was still there. All of it. $2.2 million in 3 apartments, one in Portugal, one in Vancouver, one in Costa Rica. George had always said, "Martha, love, a woman should have something that's only hers, just in case the world turns mean." I'd laughed at him then. I wasn't laughing now. My phone started ringing at 2 o'clock sharp. Benjamin. I let it ring 6 calls go to voicemail, then finally picked up on the 7th. "Mom, where are you?" His voice was tight, the fake concern stretched thin. "It's 2 in the afternoon. You said errands. Eleanor's worried sick."
I could hear Eleanor in the background saying something sharp and Olivia's music thumping upstairs. "I'm fine, son," I said, calm as Sunday morning. Decided to take a little day for myself. Been a long time since I did that. "A day for yourself?" He forced a laugh. "Mom, you don't do that. Where are you exactly?" "Out and about," I said. "Taking care of things I should have taken care of years ago." "Mom, this isn't like you. You always tell us where you're going. Eleanor made your favorite chicken and dumplings. Olivia's asking for you." Chicken and dumplings. Eleanor hadn't cooked chicken and dumplings in 8 years. I almost smiled. "Tell them I'll be back when I'm good and ready." "Mom, you're scaring me. You don't sound right. Are you taking your pills?" There it was, the first seed, the first little suggestion that dear old Mom might be losing her marbles. I felt that new anger flare again, bright and clean. "I've never been clearer in my life, Benjamin," I said, and hung up. I turned the phone off, ordered room service tea and a salad I didn't eat, and made 2 calls. First, to the overseas financial advisor George had trusted for 30 years. "Yes, Mrs. Caldwell, everything is active and liquid whenever you wish." Second, to the law firm of Montgomery & Associates, the most expensive elder law practice in the state. I didn't even flinch when they quoted their retainer. Money, it turned out, was a very warm blanket when the world got cold. Dr. Graham Montgomery met me himself in a conference room that smelled of leather and lemon oil. He was tall, silver-haired, with eyes like a hawk, and a handshake that said he'd buried worse monsters than my family for breakfast. "Mrs. Caldwell," he said after I played the recordings from that morning, "what we have here is elder abuse, conspiracy to commit fraud, identity theft, and attempted forcible institutionalization. That's felony territory. And that's before we get to the offshore assets they don't know about. I don't want them warned yet. I want them to keep digging their hole. But I want everything documented. Every lie, every theft, every plan." He smiled the way a chess master smiles when the opponent has just moved their queen into the open. "Then let's give them all the rope they need, Martha. May I call you Martha?" "You may, Dr. Montgomery. Call me Graham. And Martha, you're not just a victim. You're a very wealthy woman who's been criminally underestimated. We are going to enjoy this." That night, alone in my suite, I turned my phone back on. 37 missed calls. 15 from Eleanor, 8 from Olivia. The voicemails went from syrupy worry to thinly veiled panic. I answered only Benjamin's next call. "Mom, this has to stop. You can't just vanish. We have a right to know where you are." "A right?" I repeated softly. The word tasted strange in my mouth. "Since when does love come with
Rights over another person's freedom, Benjamin. He sputtered. In the background, I heard Eleanor hiss, "Put it on speaker." I almost laughed. Mom, you're acting erratically. I think you need to see a specialist. Funny, I said. I was just thinking the same about you. Good night, son. I hung up again, heart racing, but not from fear this time, from power. The next morning, I did something I hadn't done since 1983. I went shopping for myself. Not for Benjamin's school clothes, not for Olivia's prom dress, not for Eleanor's birthday. For me. I walked into the salon on 5th and Main where the rich ladies went and told the stylist, "Sophia, make me look like the woman I was too busy to be." 3 hours later, I stared in the mirror at a stranger with elegant silver highlights, a sleek layers that framed my face, and eyes that looked alive again. Sophia spun the chair. "Welcome back, Queen," she whispered, and I swear I felt my spine grow 2 inches. I bought dresses, black silk that hugged my still good figure, emerald green that made my eyes sparkle, red that made me feel dangerous. I bought Italian leather shoes and a handbag that cost more than Eleanor's first car. I walked out of those stores with my head high, packages swinging, feeling every bit the wealthy woman I actually was. That evening, dressed in the red dress, I sat in the hotel restaurant, sipping Chardonnay, and called Benjamin again. This time, I recorded the call. "Mom, finally, where the devil have you been?" "Taking care of myself, son," I said, letting the words settle. Something I should have done decades ago. "This isn't funny. You need to come home now. Eleanor made your favorite." "Tell Eleanor the next time she lies about cooking, she should at least remember I'm allergic to mushrooms. She put them in the dumplings last Christmas, and I spent the night in the ER." Silence. Then, "Mom, I think you need help. A psychologist. You're not yourself." "I'm more myself than I've been in 45 years, Benjamin. And I know everything. The credit cards Eleanor took out in my name, the doctors you've been shopping, the trip to the Florida Keys you paid for with my money, while I thought you were at Eleanor's sick mother's bedside." He tried to laugh it off. "Mom, you're confused." "Am I? Because I also know you lost your job 8 months ago and have been living off my pension while smiling to my face. And I know about Plan B, Benjamin. Switching my pills, hiding my glasses, telling me the cat died when we never had a cat. I heard every word last night." The line went so quiet, I could hear his breathing. "Mom, come home. We can talk." "No, darling, we're done talking. You have one chance, just one, to confess, return every cent, and maybe I'll find mercy in my heart. Otherwise, I'll see you in court." "We have nothing to confess," he said, but his voice cracked like a boy's. "Then God help you," I whispered, and hung up. I set the phone down, hands steady now, and looked out the mirror across the restaurant. The woman in the red dress looked back at me and smiled, slow, calm, and unafraid. The war had started, and for the first time, I was the one with the bigger army.
The days that followed were a whirlwind, but not the kind that knocks you down, the kind that clears the air after a storm. Graham Montgomery's investigator worked like a shadow, slipping in and out of places I'd never even thought to look, piecing together the puzzle of my family's betrayal one ugly shard at a time. By Thursday afternoon, he had a folder thick as my Bible waiting in Graham's office. I sat there in my new emerald dress, the fabric whispering against the leather chair, sipping tea from a china cup, while Graham laid it all out like a hand of cards. "Martha," he said, his voice steady but his eyes gleaming, "your daughter-in-law, Eleanor, has been busy. Over the last 6 months, she's opened 5 credit cards in your name. Total debt, $43,000. Luxury bags, spa days, even that trip to the Florida Keys you mentioned. They told you it was to see her sick mother, but her mother's been dead for 15 years. I set the cup down carefully, the clink echoing in the quiet room. I remember that week. Eleanor cried real tears, said her mama was fading fast. I gave them extra money for gas and hotels. And all the while? Graham nodded. All the while they were sipping Mai Tais on a beach you paid for. But that's not all. Benjamin lost his job 8 months back, downsized from the firm. He's been cashing your pension checks, forging your signature on withdrawals, and he's contacted 3 other doctors, shopping for one who'll sign off on dementia without an exam. My hands clenched in my lap, nails digging into palms. And Olivia? Graham's face softened a touch. She's 3 months pregnant. Father's a married man twice her age, won't acknowledge it. She's been borrowing from friends, spinning tales about your medical bills to guilt them into loans. The room spun for a moment, the scent of polished wood and old books grounding me. My granddaughter, the girl I'd braided hair for, read bedtime stories to, lost in her own mess but still part of theirs. There's more, Graham continued gently. Eleanor's been seeing your neighbor Dave on the side for 2 years. Motels twice a week, while she tells Benjamin she's at yoga. We have photos. Dave, Carol's husband from next door, the one who mowed our lawn after George died. Carol, with her apple pies and kind words. The betrayal stung fresh. Not just mine, but hers. Document it all, I said, voice like steel. Every whisper, every receipt. I want them to feel the weight of it when it falls. Graham leaned back. Smart play. Let them dig deeper. They're panicking now. Your vanishing has them scrambling. That night, back in my suite with its river view turning gold in the sunset, I turned on my phone again. More missed calls, texts escalating from pleas to threats. I ignored them, ordering a steak dinner I ate slowly, savoring each bite like a victory. Then Graham called with an update. Your family just accelerated. Benjamin tried accessing your bank accounts today, claiming you'd had a breakdown. Bank shut him down, but he raised hell. Eleanor's selling your antiques online, your grandmother's china, George's war medals. Olivia's spreading rumors at school about your Alzheimer's, using it to beg for cash. Each word was a knife, but I felt the handles in my hands now. And we've got eyes on them. Last night they met with a knowing forger, Paul Hayes, paid him up front to fake medical docs certifying your incompetence. A forger? Criminals, my own blood turning to felons. What next? Let them bury themselves. Phase 2, we set a trap. Phase 2 was elegant in its simplicity, like a spider's web. Monday morning, I dressed in my black silk, powerful, mourning the family I thought I had, and met Rick at the city's top real estate firm. I'm in the market for something grand, $1.5 million range, secure, modern, with a view. Rick's eyes lit up like Christmas. We toured mansions, marble floors echoing under my new heels. At the second, a sprawling place with gardens and gates, familiar voices floated from the lobby as we returned. Excuse me, I said to Rick, heart steady now. I believe that's my kin. Downstairs, there they were, Benjamin in his best suit, Eleanor clutching her purse like a shield, Olivia shifting foot to foot. We're here to appraise a property, Benjamin was saying to another agent. My mother's house. She's ill and we have power of attorney. Documentation? The agent asked.
It's processing, Eleanor snapped, nervous sweat beading on her brow. I descended the stairs like a queen. Hello, family. Their faces. Oh, the horror in their eyes was a balm to my soul. Benjamin blanched white as milk. Eleanor's mouth gaped. Olivia stepped back, hand to chest. Mom, Benjamin croaked, what are you doing here? Shopping, dear, for a new home.
What about you? Selling mine without asking?" Rick approached, polite confusion on his face. "You know these folks, Mrs. Caldwell?" "Unfortunately," I said, "this is the family trying to declare me incompetent." The agent looked between us. "If there's a dispute—" "No dispute," Eleanor blurted. "She's not well. Erratic." "Erratic?" I laughed softly. "While I'm here buying $1.5 million mansion with cash?" Olivia whispered, $1.5 million? "Yes, sweetheart. Turns out Grandma's got more than you dreamed." I dialed Graham on speaker. "I'm at the realtors. Family's claiming power of attorney to sell my house. Send someone?" "On it," Graham said. Benjamin lunged forward. "Mom, this is a misunderstanding. Let's go home." "No," I said, stepping back. "Home's where you plotted to break me. Now wait for my lawyers." Eleanor's tears started, fake as her concern. "Martha, we're family. Everything was for your good." "My good?" My voice rose, drawing eyes from across the office. "Stealing with fake cards? Forging docs? Hiring criminals?" I played the recording then, Benjamin's voice booming. "Switch her meds, gaslight her. Any doctor will certify she's ill." Gasps rippled through the room. The agent backed away. "I can't proceed with this." 2 lawyers arrived, with a notary, documenting every stammered lie. My family followed me to the street, pleading, turning to shouts. "Mom, wait!" Benjamin yelled. "Grandma, I love you!" Olivia wailed. Eleanor spat. "You're a bitter old hag. We gave you everything." "Gave me?" I turned from the cab door. "I gave you life, Benjamin, and you repaid with poison." As the cab pulled away, their shouts faded, and I felt the first real peace in weeks. That afternoon, Graham called. They doubled down, paid Hayes $50,000 to rush the fakes. But Hayes is an FBI plant. They've got tapes. Your family's under federal investigation now. I leaned back in my suite, watching the river flow. It's over then. Not quite. Time for the public reckoning. That night, I went live on a streaming platform, camera on my new face. Title, A Grandma's Truth About Her Family. Viewers trickled in, then flooded, 3,000 by hour's end. I told it all, voice calm but laced with the pain they'd caused. Played clips, showed docs. Comments poured, support, outrage, shared stories. Midstream, Olivia called in. "Grandma, stop! You're ruining us!" "Ruining you?" I echoed for the audience. "After you planned my end?" She hung up sobbing. Then Benjamin, "This is slander." "Is it?" I played more tapes. "Explain pain of forger, son." He broke, begging. "Mom, we need the money. It wasn't personal." "Not personal," I repeated, the words ash in my mouth. "After 45 years?" I ended the stream to 7,000 viewers, feeling the world shift under me, not crumbling, but steadying. The next morning, viral. Messages flooded, lawyers offering help, elders sharing tales, a social worker crediting me with saving a client. Graham called. Hayes confessed. They faked a will, too, premeditated for months. I sat stunned, then resolute. But then Olivia called, voice raw. "Grandma, can we talk? Just us?" We met in the hotel cafe, her eyes red, hands twisting a napkin. "I never wanted it this far," she whispered. "How far was okay?" I asked softly. She spilled. The debts, Benjamin's gambling, her pregnancy, Eleanor's schemes. "They're blaming me now. Say I stole your jewels for drugs." Proof on her phone, recordings, texts, videos. "Why tell me?" "Because you're the only real family I've got left." I took her hand. "If you testify, it ends them." "I know, but it saves us." And just like that, my granddaughter became my ally.
The trial loomed like a gathering storm, but with Olivia by my side, it felt less like doom and more like reckoning. She moved into the hotel suite with me that very afternoon, her small duffel bag slung over her shoulder, eyes still puffy from tears, but holding a spark of something new, resolve maybe. We sat on the balcony that evening, watching the city lights flicker on like distant stars, the cool breeze carrying the faint scent of rain and river water. "Grandma," she said softly, twisting her hands in her lap, "are you sure about this? Testifying against Mom and Dad? It's forever." I reached over, covering her hand with mine. It was small, like hers had been as a child when I'd hold it crossing streets. "Nothing's forever but the choices we make, sweetheart. They chose betrayal. You're choosing truth. That's the difference between sinking and swimming." She nodded, leaning her head on my shoulder. For the first time in years, it felt real. Not the forced affection I'd mistaken for love. Graham Montgomery built the case like a fortress, brick by brick. Recordings, bank statements, investigator reports, even Paul Hayes' FBI confession. Benjamin and Eleanor hired a slick lawyer, the kind with shiny shoes and a shark smile, but he advised pleading guilty. They refused, clinging to their story of the confused grandmother they'd only tried to help. The courthouse was a grand old building downtown, marble steps worn smooth by decades of feet seeking justice. I walked up them in my black suit, Olivia beside me in a simple dress, her hand in mine. Reporters swarmed. My streams had made this national news. But I held my head high, the click of my heels echoing like purpose. Inside, the courtroom smelled of polished oak and stale coffee, packed with spectators, journalists scribbling, elders nodding in solidarity, even a few faces from my old neighborhood looking shocked. Benjamin and Eleanor sat at the defense table, shadows of themselves. He'd lost weight, his suit hanging loose, eyes hollow. She fidgeted with a tissue, makeup unable to hide the gaunt lines. When our gazes met, Benjamin mouthed, "Mom," but I looked away. The pain was still there, a dull ache, but overlaid with clarity. The prosecutor, a sharp woman named Miss Rivera, opened strong. "Ladies and gentlemen, this is a story of greed disguised as care. Martha Caldwell, a 70-year-old widow, discovered her adopted son, daughter-in-law, and granddaughter plotting to declare her incompetent, commit her to a nursing home, and seize her assets through fraud and forgery." She played the recordings first, Benjamin's cold voice detailing Plan B, Eleanor's laughter about making my life impossible. Gasps rippled through the jury, 12 ordinary folks whose faces hardened with each word. Bank records followed, the fake cards, the stolen pension, the Florida trip. Then Hayes' testimony via video. They paid me $50,000 to forge dementia docs and a will. Said the old lady wouldn't last long once committed. The defense tried to spin it. Mrs. Caldwell is wealthy beyond what she disclosed, leading to family misunderstandings. But it fell flat. When I took the stand, the room hushed. Miss Rivera's voice was gentle. "Mrs. Caldwell, how did you feel discovering these plans?" I looked at the jury, voice steady despite the tremor in my chest. Like I'd poured my soul into a sieve. 45 years raising Benjamin, sacrificing for him, Eleanor, Olivia. I worked 18-hour days, gave up friends, dreams. George and I adopted him out of love, not obligation. And they saw me as a burden to bury for profit? The defense attorney cross-examined, voice oily. "Didn't you hide millions from your family? Didn't it deserve to know?" "Deserve?" I echoed, meeting his eyes. "For conspiring to gaslight me, steal my identity, forge my will? No, sir. Love isn't a transaction, and theirs wasn't love. But the turning point was Olivia. She took the stand, hands clasped tight, voice quavering at first, but gaining strength. She said, "My parents planned it all. The med switch, the forger, blaming me if caught. Dad's gambling debts over $100,000, that's why they rushed. Mom's affair, the stolen jewels, I recorded their fights, text plotting to throw me under the bus." The prosecutor played her evidence, Eleanor's voice snarling, "If it goes south, say Olivia needed drug money." Benjamin agreeing. The jury shifted, murmurs rising. The defense attacked. "You're pregnant, desperate for money. Isn't this a ploy to get your grandmother's fortune?" Olivia lifted her chin. "I'm pregnant and scared, yes, but I'm not lying. Grandma didn't buy my testimony. She earned it by being the only one who really ever saw me, not as a pawn, but a person." When she stepped down, she squeezed my hand. The courtroom felt electric, the weight of truth pressing down. The trial dragged 5 days, each revelation peeling back layers of their lies. Closing arguments, Miss Rivera passionate. "This isn't family care, it's calculated cruelty." The defense pleading misunderstanding, but the jury wasn't buying.
Deliberation, 2 hours. Verdict, guilty on all counts. Conspiracy, fraud, forgery, elder abuse. The judge's gavel fell like finality. Benjamin, 12 years. Eleanor, 10, plus mortgage fraud. Eleanor wailed, collapsing into her lawyer. Benjamin stared blank, then turned to me, tears streaming. "Mom, I'm sorry." I stood, feeling the room's eyes, but spoke only to Olivia. "Let's go home, sweetheart." Outside, reporters surged. "Mrs. Caldwell, justice served?" "Legal justice, yes," I said, "but real justice is reclaiming your life." 6 months later, life bloomed anew. I sold the old house, too many ghosts, and bought a sunny bungalow on the city's edge, with a garden bursting with roses and herbs, their scents filling the air each morning. Olivia and I planted together, her belly rounding as summer waned. She finished high school with honors, enrolled in community college for pre-law. "I want to protect elders like you, Grandma," she said one afternoon, dirt under her nails. "No one should go through that." The baby came in fall, a girl, tiny and fierce, with George's eyes. We named her Hope. Holding her, watching Olivia's tired smile, I felt the circle close, not in vengeance, but renewal. Benjamin and Eleanor wrote from prison, apologies, pleas. I burned the letters unread. Some wounds heal by scarring over, not reopening. I started a foundation for elder abuse victims, sharing my story in quiet talks, helping others spot the signs. Friends returned, new ones bloomed. At 71, I traveled, Portugal first, to see George's apartment overlooking the sea. Waves crashing like applause.
Every night now, before I turn off the lamp beside my bed, I do the same small ritual. I open the bedroom window just a crack so the garden roses can drift in. I touch the framed photo of George holding baby Benjamin on the day we brought him home, and I whisper 3 quiet thank yous. Thank you to Dr. Sterling, who risked everything to slip me that note. Thank you to the woman I used to be, who somehow found the strength to become someone braver. And thank you to little Hope, asleep down the hall, for reminding me that family isn't only what you're born into or what you adopt. Sometimes it's what chooses you when the old one falls away. I'm 71 years old, and for the first time in my life, I am not waiting for someone else's permission to live. I take watercolor classes on Tuesdays. I eat dinner on the patio when I feel like it. I dance in the kitchen to Aretha Franklin while Olivia laughs and Hope claps chubby hands. I wear red lipstick on ordinary Thursdays just because it makes me happy. I am no longer the woman who shrank to fit other people's expectations. I am Martha Caldwell, whole, wealthy in more ways than money, and finally, free. Some of you watching this tonight are sitting in houses that don't feel safe anymore. Some of you have heard the whispers stop when you walk into a room. Some of you have seen that quick, disappointed flicker in a child's eyes when the doctor says she's perfectly healthy.
Some of you are holding a note or a bank statement or a phone recording, and you're terrified to believe what it's telling you. Listen to Auntie May's voice. Soft, but certain. You are not crazy. You are not a burden. You are not obligated to set yourself on fire to keep others warm. Love should never cost you your dignity, your sanity, or your freedom. And if the people who claim to love you are willing to take those things, then they stop being your people the moment they made the plan. Walk away. Hide money if you have to. Record if you have to. Call a lawyer, a shelter, a friend you haven't spoken to in 20 years. Just don't stay silent. There is life. Beautiful, loud, colorful life on the other side of that door you're afraid to open. I promise you, because I'm living it. And if anyone ever tells you it's too late, remember me, 70 years old, standing in a hotel mirror in a red dress, deciding the story wasn't over. It's never too late to choose yourself. So tell me, darlings, if you were holding that note in your trembling hands tonight, if you heard the laughter downstairs planning your ending, what would you do? Would you stay quiet to keep the peace? Or would you pack your little suitcase and write a brand new beginning? Leave it in the comments. Let the next scared soul scrolling in the dark read your courage and find theirs. And if my story helped even one of you stand taller tonight, then every tear I cried was worth it. Until next time, this is Auntie May reminding you, you are stronger than they ever let you believe. And you are so very, very loved. Exactly as you are. Good night, my dears. Close the window if it's cold, but never close your heart to yourself.